Hello, hello, mic check. I hear myself.
Mic check, mic check.
Let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Good evening again. Meteorologist Alden German alongside meteorologist Christina San Juan here in the WHAS 11 viewing area. We're starting off with a live look from our Jeffersonville camera. Can't see the skyline because we have it yet again, another torrential downpour with possibly large hail moving through Metro Louisville at the moment. Christina San Juan is pulling up radar right now. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for the heart of Jefferson County, also including portions of Bullock County and western Spencer County until 9:15 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll get in actually she'll put a track on this first as this moves down to the south. Butchel, expect that in about 5 minutes. Fern Creek just after 9 o'clock. Hillview at 9:07. Mount Washington at 9:17 after the warning is expected to expire. And in Taylorsville or near Taylorsville at 9:22 p.m. Prospect, you're not in that warning, but you're still seeing some of that extremely heavy rainfall at the moment. We'll switch on our hail tracker, Christina, and we'll see just how large some of this hail could be. So we are looking at potentially moving through the heart of downtown. Hail up to around an inch in diameter, which is about quarter size, up to maybe about an inch and a half, which is about $half size in diameter. So we have seen a lot of hail with these thunderstorms through today, through this evening, and they have caused quite a bit of damage in some areas. Thankfully, this hail is not as large as what we had been seeing earlier this evening, about 4 hours ago, where parts of southern Indiana were seeing baseball-sized hail or even larger. So still some hail that could possibly cause a few dings. Let's put on our wind speeds because I just want to be certain that we don't possibly have any damaging wind gusts, but we could see some wind speeds up to about 60 miles per hour. We'll get in almost street level here inside of the Watterson, and we'll analyze some of those wind speed pixels to get an idea of how strong some of that how fast some of those wind speeds could be. So particularly between Germantown and Audubon Park here is where we could have some of the strongest wind speeds. Usually when you have those blue shaded pixels, your wind speeds are over 60 miles per hour, but this is only showing about 34 miles per hour. I also think you're on the relative velocity. Let's switch over to the base velocity. That's just the normal wind speed indicator, and that might give us a little bit of a clearer picture there of what some of these wind speeds could be. So let's now query some of these pixels here near Germantown. Still seeing about maybe 22 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour off to our west there just a bit north of Iroquois Park. So these wind speeds aren't necessarily making it down to the ground, but not too long ago our focus investigative John Charlton off in the east end was reporting very strong winds that passed through with that storm from just a few minutes ago that did down some trees and caused some at least brief power outages. And at last check, we had at least 22,000 power outages here in Metro Louisville. So as a reminder, if you do lose power, we're streaming on YouTube, on Facebook. You can also find us on WHAS11.com and on our free WHAS 11 app. We still have another severe thunderstorm warning in Shelby County. Shelbyville, you're seeing some very heavy rain at the moment. This is also pushing to the southeast. Severe thunderstorm warning also includes Frankfort, so you're likely going to see some of that heavy rain and likely some hail with that as well. These are moving faster than what they were earlier this evening, which is good because that also means we'll get them out of our area here relatively quickly as well. We'll get in a little bit closer here on Jefferson County and Metro Louisville, as it also looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for parts of southern Harrison County as well. But right here, through the heart of the metro is where we have that severe thunderstorm warning. Heavy rain there near Butchel and Okolona. Probably have some gusty winds from PRP and Shively through the downtown Louisville. But once again, it's this northern quadrant here between the Watterson and up along I-71 towards I-265 and Prospect, Anchorage, where we have that heaviest rain that's falling at the moment. We'll put on our hail again, Christina, because that's really been the big thing we've seen throughout tonight is the hail. And remember that this hail product runs a little bit behind what we see on our actual radar. So we can probably probably take this and push it a few miles to the east mentally. So Northfield, St. Matthew, Strathmore Village probably experiencing some of that moderate-sized hail, I'll say around a quarter size up to perhaps $half size in diameter. And again, this severe thunderstorm warning is until 9:15 p.m. So these are relatively short, which is again good, but we're still seeing some very heavy rain. Could have some localized areas of flash flooding. That was a little bit of a problem that we had earlier, in addition to some very high wind gusts of 60 miles per hour or higher. We'll switch back to our regular radar view here so we can see where we likely have that strongest area of rain, as we just got a new sweep in. So we'll zoom in a little bit closer here. Thank you. Prospect, Northfield, St. Matt's, Audubon Park. It's getting ready to pass through you at the moment. Butyl and Fern Creek also seeing some heavy rain, as that little blip we just saw earlier has since grown just a tad. And at Jefferson Town, you're about to get some of that very heavy rain as well. So another quick little storm track on this. Fisherville, 9 o'clock on the dot. Asheville, it's pretty much in your neighborhood right now. Okolona, you can expect that pretty much right now as well, as we see this very relatively quick moving storm pushing through the area. And this is tremendous heavy rainfall that we have here. Those deep shades of red, also likely where we have hail falling at the moment too. And this severe thunderstorm warning includes Mount Washington and Bullitt County. So as that pushes southward, you're going to notice that moving into your neighborhood in Mount Washington, likely at around 9:07 p.m. We'll clear off this track and we'll take a look back to our west, because we do have one cell out there. Severe thunderstorm warning for southern Harrison County. Excuse me, this storm not quite as large. There's also one there in Perry County, but right there to the southwest of Cordon is where we probably have some more hail. We'll put on the hail tracker for that as well to get an idea of how large some of that could be. And it's probably, I'm guessing, around that inch to 2 inch in size. Again, there's a delay with the hail tracker, so probably going to see that update here within the next couple of minutes, and we'll either see that grow in size or shrink just a little bit. But here in the metro, we're actually seeing a growing area of hail, still possibly seeing the largest hail near Shively right now, but it's not as large as what it could have been earlier. Again, when some parts of Indiana were seeing hail up to the size of baseball. So this is most likely around a quarter to $half size. We'll pit back our, actually no, we will look at our wind speeds here.
There was a report that just came in at SDF, 54 mile per hour wind gust.
Okay, so close to severe levels. Still gusty and still 54 miles per hour. And when you have the ground as saturated as it is now from all the rain that we've had, you can possibly get some uprooted trees. Christina, I want to switch over to our MetroCams really quickly, because I can see out the corner of my eye quite a bit of lightning. And then we'll check out our actual lightning strikes. So we've seen a lot of cloud to ground lightning strikes with a lot of these storms today. This is in Jeffersonville looking southward. If we check our Marriott camera off in the east end in Hurstbourne, that's where we'll probably find some of the heaviest rain right now. You can make out that rain shaft right here, that very heavy rain. You can see some of those occasional flashes of lightning from either the clouds to the ground or just intra-cloud lightning. So these are still strong storms, and given how much rain we've had today from the earlier round and how strong those storms were, the fact that we even have something that still is kicking as much as this is and has as much punch as it does is frankly kind of impressive from a meteorological standpoint. You can also see the flag down there and how strong some of those wind gusts are. We'll go back to radar. We'll check out those lightning strikes to see how many of them we have, because those could also potentially cause some power outages, as we have already seen. About 500 lightning strikes here across our entire area. So these are some fairly hefty storms, and this one still looking like it's picking up its intensity just a little bit. Let's zoom all the way out, Christina, and show our entire viewing area so we can get some idea of what else we might have coming our way. And this line right here from Evansville towards Frankfort is all that we are seeing at the moment. And I believe once we get this line to push southward, we're going to see our severe weather risk really start to fall off for the rest of the evening, because now the atmosphere is really worked over, as we've said. A lot of that fuel that these storms feed off of has been consumed now from all of the different thunderstorms that we had from earlier. So we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Shelby County, Spencer County, central Jefferson County, including the metro area, also in southern Harrison County. What direction is this one moving, Christina?
It's moving down to the southeast.
This one here in Harrison County?
Let me check really fast.
Given just the shape of that box, it could be moving eastward. So Valley Station, you might get some additional rainfall here in just a little bit. Could be splitting a little bit there too. You kind of see two separate lobes there in in Harrison County, just to the north or south there of Cordon.
Yes, so that's moving to the east at 60 miles per hour, so it's absolutely racing off there for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts that the radar picked up on and quarter-size hail.
Let's put a track on that one there and push that to the east. So that's moving at pretty much highway speeds. Earlier this evening, these storms were moving at only 30 to 40 miles per hour, so they are moving much quicker now. We'll get that track and see what time it'll be into Elizabeth, PRP, Valley Station, towards Fairdale as well. Go ahead and drag that out. We'll get that up to around I-65 and get as many communities in there as possible. Cordon, you're going to see some fairly heavy rain pushing in here again. Elizabeth, this storm will move into your neighborhood at 9:08, so about 6 more minutes. Valley Station, there's Shively and Okolona at just before 9:30 or 9:24 p.m. Shively, you're probably once again going to get hit with more heavy rain, some gusty winds and hail, and that'll be around perhaps 9:18 p.m. Christina, do you have any additional storm reports from the Weather Service in the chat?
No, the last thing that I heard was just the 54-mile-per-hour gust at SDF. At this point, I'm not really even seeing reports of hail, at least not widespread. And a lot of times when those reports come in, as we know, they are a little bit delayed because our hail tracker, of course, did show us that there was at least a little bit of hail out there.
And not seeing large hail is a good thing. So
absolutely,
we don't want to see any damage to windshields or anything that's outside in particular. Let's clear this off. Let's pan back to the east a little bit because we still have some of that tremendous rain that's falling in the east end now. And we'll also put a loop on that and see how this has evolved over the last few minutes and see if it's gotten any stronger or not. It's maintained its strength a little bit, I would say, but it's probably has just reorganize itself a little bit. So we're starting to see that heavier core now passing right over Raleigh International Airport, and also still seeing some of that strong hail that's falling along I-64 as that pushes to the east. And we're probably looking at an increase in some hail sizes right here now too. So that purple shade, usually around a 2-inch in diameter, so probably hail up to around about the size of a hen egg, $half size, or up to the size of a dollar coin that you would typically see. So between Audubon Park down toward Iroquois Park, almost right on top of Raleigh International Airport. So I doubt there are very many flights that are getting out of there. You can expect some of that hail to likely make its way into Okolona too. Let's put a loop on this, please, Christina, and we'll see how this has evolved and if it's starting to continue to pulse up or maybe weaken some. And it's strengthened here over the last hour. You can really see as it was moving out of Floyd County, it wasn't too much with it, but it's really popped off now over the airport and kind of right there along near the Kentucky Humane Society's main campus, if you know where that is, on South 3rd Street. We'll put back our normal radar view and I'll stick with you here for just a few more minutes as we have this, once again, strong thunderstorm pushing through the area. Very heavy rain is falling across the east end right now. Anchorage, pushing out of St. Matthews at Crestwood, you're seeing some of that heavy rain. It's not quite as strong as some of those earlier storms that we had were. Still have the severe thunderstorm warning for the southern parts of Harrison County too. Really quickly, I want to see what some of our rain totals have been as we look outside again, and you can see some very heavy rain that's off to the west end at the moment. But the rainfall amounts are also going to be something that we have to keep an eye on because we could potentially have some localized areas of flooding, which is what we have had earlier. That's down a little bit there on the left, and we can see some 24-hour estimated rainfall so since yesterday, but we do possibly have that little bullseye of about 3 to 4 inches in parts of Jefferson County. So near the airport, about 1.7 inches, PRP Fire about 1.5 inches, Shively around 1.5 inches. Starting to see those rain totals now pick up quite a bit. Off in the east end, you didn't have too much rain earlier. So this is good in a sense because we did have a drought developing. So now that we're getting a lot of this heavy rainfall, we call these drought busting rains. About 1.3 inches officially recorded at Raleigh International Airport. E-Town's still the big winner today, at least where there's a rain gauge at just over 3.6 inches of rain. We'll go back to radar. We'll check out Metro Louisville again, see where that heaviest rain is falling. We'll get in really close just on Metro Louisville. Anchorage, you're getting that tremendous heavy rainfall right now. Okolona, Butyl, and Fairdale also seeing that heavy rain. It's this location too where we likely have some of that larger hail that's falling at the moment. Christina, do you have any additional hail reports?
Just thunderstorm wind damage, but this is in Finchfield and Shelby County, Kentucky.
What's that one?
There's a tree down.
Okay, that's all we've really seen in terms of damage, which is still not good, but it's better to have, a couple of trees down than a possible tornado rolling through the area. We'll put our hail tracker back on here, and I wanted to check that hail core that was pushing through the south end. It's not quite as strong as what it was before between Audubon Park and Okolona, but it is still somewhat large. So these blue shades probably around a quarter-sized hail up to maybe $half-sized hail. Not enough to do damage, but it certainly would be very, very loud.
And that's the exact report that just came in, Alden. It was reported at $half-sized hail in Jeffersonville just a couple of minutes ago. Well, let's see. As we mentioned, sometimes these reports are a bit delayed. This was at 8:52. It is now 9:07.
Okay, so but that is still good confirmation of what we have seen out of the storm hail, up to about the size of $half. So hopefully you haven't had any damage to your car. Once you get up to around that $half size and dollar coin size is when you could start to maybe get a few dings. But if we were seeing baseballs, that's when we would really be concerned about some actual more widespread damage.
Would have been right here.
Okay, so right there in Jeffersonville at 8:52, where Christina stopped it, that's where we were getting those reports. And if that continued to strengthen as it pushed through near the Ollie International Airport area in Churchill Downs, then you probably would have had hail even larger than that. So that's when, yes, you can see that potential for damaging hail. This is the latest scan that came in. Okolona right on top of you, seeing some of that probable heavy hail at the moment, and a large hail pushing out of Butyl and into Fern Creek right now. Do they have any talks of maybe expanding that warning or extending it, Christina?
No chatter about it whatsoever. So it seems like we only have about 7 minutes left of this particular warning.
All right, we'll put back on our, let's actually check out our wind speeds really quickly, because that's the other thing we have to be concerned with. Don't see any rotation, which is good. So there's no tornadic activity over the metro right now, but we could still have some gusty winds up to around that 60-mile-per-hour range. And that has resulted already in tens of thousands of power outages across the metro area. We'll put our normal radar back on again. We'll loop that over the last hour. We'll see how, if the storm has weakened or strengthened any. And I would say it's probably maintaining its strength a little bit. Would you agree, Christina?
Yes, but the good thing here, well, good and not so good, there's pros and cons of it moving fast out of here, is we don't really have to worry about a lot of flash flooding concerns, because this thing is just racing off, like you said, and highway speeds at 60 miles per hour. So it does look like it's maintaining its speed and its energy, its fuel with the atmosphere. So we'll continue to watch those reports, of course, but at least we're not seeing it strengthen. That would be the good news here.
Correct, and especially given all the other activity that we had today, there's just not as much fuel for these storms to work with. So they aren't going to be able to get as strong, although they do still pack quite a bit of a punch here. As you see, a lot of that heavy rain there in that deep red shade. It says, she just paused it there. Fern Creek, you're seeing that really heavy rain. It'll be pushing into southern Jefferson County and into Mount Washington soon. Let's get in a little bit closer here in this area, Christina's, between Fern Creek and Mount Washington. Right there along that leading edge, the rain's probably just going to start like a wall. Same thing with the winds that'll come with it. Just not too much happening, kind of quiet, and then you get that wall of water, some hail, and some of those pretty strong winds. Anchorage, Middletown, seeing some very heavy rain up towards Crestwood. It'll be moving into Fisherville again here relatively soon. Still seeing some lingering activity back towards the west end as well, near the Sherman-Minton Bridge, just south of New Albany. But as we look at our hail one more time, right on top of Fern Creek is probably where we have that largest hail potential. This is a few minutes old as the severe thunderstorm warning goes for another 5 minutes. But Okolona towards Fern Creek and Jeffersontown, seeing hail possibly up to about the size of $half. So an active night for us across the area. We still have that tornado watch that's in place until 11 p.m. Christina, let's pull that up actually, because they were dropping some of those counties up to our far north. I'm curious to see if they've dropped anything else in that tornado watch. Lawrence, Jackson, and Jennings counties up to our north have been dropped from that watch, which goes until 11 p.m. Adair County was never in it. Severe thunderstorm watch to our west does not include any of our area, but we still have this tiny severe, tornado watch rather, in that pink shade with some of those severe thunderstorm warnings again until 11 p.m. And I think once we get this main line that's currently in the metro south of us is when we'll see that severe weather threat really start to come to a close for the rest of the evening and into tonight. So one more time, we'll get back into the metro on our radar, show you where some of that really heavy rain is pushing through Anchorage along 265 now. There's 150, Fern Creek, probably seeing some of that possibly large hail. Butchell, you'll get another strong thunderstorm to push in there within the next few minutes too. And I probably would see that warning extended just a little bit. One more storm track. Pioneer Village at 912, Whitfield at 9:15, Mount Washington 9:15, Crenshaw 9:18, and Solitude down here, Solitude at around 9:22 p.m. So again, just stay inside, wait till this rain passes, and if you see any flooded roadways, do not drive into them, do not walk through them, just turn around, don't drown. That is the saying when it comes to heavy rain like this. So we'll see this continue for about the next 5 to 10 minutes as it pushes through southern Jefferson County. Still probably going to see a couple more rounds of some heavy rain to push in before we are finally finished with this activity for the night. Meteorologist Christina San Juan and I are going to continue to be here through the rest of the evening as long as necessary, and if needed, we will break back into programming. But until then, back to regular programming, and stick with us. We'll keep you advised.